Snow Crash, Chapter 26. When Hero wakes up, it's the middle of the day, and he's all dried out from the sun, and the birds are circling overhead, trying to decide whether he's dead or alive. He climbs down from the roof of the turret, and, throwing caution to the wind, drinks 3 glasses of LA tap water. He gets some bacon out of David's fridge and throws it in the microwave. Most of General Jim's people have left, and there's only a token guard of soldiers down on the road. Hero locks all the doors that look out on the hillside, because he can't stop thinking about Raven. Then he sits at the kitchen table and goggles in. The Black Sun is mostly full of Asians, including a lot of people from the Bombay film industry, glaring at each other, stroking their black mustaches, trying to figure out what kind of hyper-violent action film will play in Persepolis next year. It's nighttime there. Hero is one of the few Americans in the joint. Along the back wall of the bar is a row of private rooms, ranging from little tete-a-tetes to big conference rooms where a bunch of avatars can gather and have a meeting. Juanita is waiting for Hero in one of the smaller ones. Her avatar just looks like Juanita. It's an honest representation, with no effort made to hide the early suggestions of crow's feet at the corners of her big black eyes. Her glossy hair is so well resolved that Hero can see individual strands refracting the light into tiny rainbows. "I'm at David's house. Where are you?" Hero asks. "In an airplane, so I may break up," Juanita says. "You on your way here?" "No, to Oregon, actually." "Portland?" "Astoria." "Why on earth would you go to Astoria, Oregon at a time like this?" Juanita takes a deep breath, lets it out shakily. "If I told you, we'd get into an argument." "Okay, what's the latest word on David?" Hero says. "The same." "Any diagnosis?" Juanita sighs, looks tired. "There won't be any diagnosis," she says. "Because it's a software, not a hardware problem." "Huh?" "They're rounding up the usual suspects. CAT scans, NMR scans, PET scans, EEGs. Everything's fine. There's nothing wrong with his brain, his hardware. It just happens to be running the wrong program? Yes, his software got poisoned. David had a snow crash last night, inside his head." "Are you trying to say it's a psychological problem?" "Well, it kind of goes beyond those established categories," Juanita says. "It's a new phenomenon. Well, a very old one, actually." "Okay, does this thing just happen spontaneously, or what?" "Well, you tell me," she says. "You were there last night. Did anything happen after I left?" "Yeah, he had a snow crash hypercard that he got from Raven outside the Black Sun." "Shit, that bastard." "Wait, who's the bastard? Raven or David?" "David. I tried to warn him." "Well, he used it." Hero goes on to explain the brandy with the magic scroll. "Then, later, he had computer trouble and he got bounced." "I heard about that part," she says. "That's why I called the paramedics." "Okay, but I don't see the connection between David's computer having a crash and you calling an ambulance." The brandy scroll wasn't just showing random static. It was flashing up a large amount of digital information, in binary form. That digital information was going straight into David's optic nerve, which is part of the brain, incidentally. If you stare into a person's pupil, you can see the terminal of the brain. "Yeah, okay, but David's not a computer. He can't read binary code." "Yeah, but he's a hacker. He messes with binary code for a living. That ability is firm-wired into the deep structures of his brain. So, he's susceptible to that form of information. And, by the way, so are you, homeboy." "What kind of information are we talking about?" "Real bad news. A metavirus," Juanita says. "It's the atomic bomb of informational warfare. A virus that causes any system to infect itself with new viruses." "And that's what made David sick?" "Yeah." "Why didn't I get sick?" "You were too far away. Your eyes couldn't resolve the bitmap. It has to be right up in your face." "All right, I'll think about that one," Hero says. "But I have another question. Raven also distributes another drug, in reality, called, among other things, Snow Crash. What is it?" "It's not really a drug," Juanita says. "They make it look like a drug and feel like a drug so that people will want to take it. It's laced with cocaine and some other stuff. Okay, if it's not a drug, what is it? It's chemically processed blood serum taken from people who are infected with the metavirus, Juanita says. That is, it's just another way of spreading the infection. Who's spreading it? L. Bob Reif's private church. All of those people are infected. Hero puts his head in his hands. He's not exactly thinking about this. He's letting it ricochet around in his skull, waiting for it to come to rest. Wait a minute, Juanita. Make up your mind. This snow crash thing, is it a virus, a drug, or a religion? Juanita shrugs. What's the difference? That Juanita is talking this way doesn't make it any easier for Hero to get back on his feet in this conversation. How can you say that? You're a religious person yourself. Okay, well, don't lump all religion together. I'm sorry. All people have religions. It's like we have religion receptors built into our brain cells or something, and we'll latch onto anything that'll fill that niche for us. Now, religion used to be essentially viral, a piece of information that replicated inside the human mind, jumping from one person to the next. That's the way it used to be, and unfortunately, that's the way it's headed right now. But there have been several efforts to deliver us from the hands of primitive, irrational religion. The first was made by someone named Enki about 4,000 years ago. The second was made by Hebrew scholars in the 8th century BC, driven out of their homeland by the invasion of Sargon II. But eventually, it just devolved into empty legalism. Another attempt was made by Jesus. That one was hijacked by viral influences within 50 days of his death. The virus was suppressed by the Catholic Church, but we're in the middle of a big epidemic that started in Kansas in 1900, and it's been gathering momentum ever since. Hang on. Do you believe in God or not? Hero says. First things first. Definitely. Do you believe in Jesus? Yes, but not in the physical, bodily resurrection of Jesus. Wait, how can you be a Christian without believing in that? Well, I would say, Juanita says, how can you be a Christian with it? Anyone who takes the trouble to study the Gospels can see that the bodily resurrection is a myth that was tacked onto the real story several years after the real histories were written. It's also National Enquirer-esque, don't you think? Beyond that, Juanita doesn't have much to say. She doesn't want to get into it now, she says. She doesn't want to prejudice Hero's thinking at this point. Wait, does that imply that there's going to be some other point? Is this a continuing relationship? Hero asks. Do you want to find the people who infected David? Yes. Hell, Juanita, even if it wasn't for the fact that he's my best friend, I'd want to find them before they infect me. Look at the battle stack, Hero, and then visit me if I get back from Astoria. If you get back? What are you doing there? Research. She's been putting on a business-like front through this whole talk, spitting out information, telling Hero the way it is. But she's tired and anxious, and Hero gets the idea that she's deeply afraid. Good luck, he says. He was all ready to do some flirting with her during this meeting, picking up where they left off last night. But something's changed in Juanita's mind between then and now. Flirting is the last thing on her mind. Juanita's going to do something dangerous in Oregon. She doesn't want Hero to know about it, so he won't worry. There's some good stuff in the battle stack about someone named Inanna, she says. Who's Inanna? She's a Sumerian goddess. I'm sort of in love with her. Anyway, you can't understand what I'm about to do until you understand Inanna. Well, good luck, Hero says. Say hi to Inanna for me. Thanks. When you get back, I want to spend some time with you. The feeling is mutual, she says, but we have to get out of this first. Oh, I didn't realize I was in something. Don't be a sap. We're all in it. Hero leaves, exiting into the black sun. There's one guy wandering around the hacker quadrant who really stands out. His avatar doesn't look so hot, and he's having trouble controlling it. He looks like a guy who's just goggled into the metaverse for the first time and doesn't know how to move around. He keeps bumping into tables, and when he wants to turn around, he spins around several times, not knowing how to stop himself. Hero walks towards him, because his face seems a little familiar. When the guy finally stops moving, long enough for Hero to resolve him clearly, he recognizes the avatar. It's a Clint, most often seen in the company of a brandy. The Clint recognizes Hero, and his surprised face comes on for a second. is then replaced by his usual stern, stiff-lipped, craggy appearance. He holds up his hands together in front of him, and Hiro sees that he's holding a scroll, just like Brandy's. Hiro reaches for his katana, but the scroll is already up in his face, spreading open to reveal the blue glare of the bitmap inside. He sidesteps, gets over to one side of the Clint, raising the katana overhead, and snaps the katana straight down and cuts the Clint's arms off. As the scroll falls, it spreads open even wider. Hiro doesn't dare look at it now. The Clint has turned around and is awkwardly trying to escape from the black sun, bouncing from table to table like a pinball. If Hiro could kill the guy, cut his head off, then his avatar would stay in the black sun, be carried away by the graveyard demons. Hiro could do some hacking, and maybe figure out who he is, where he's coming in from. But a few dozen hackers are lounging around the bar, watching all of this, and if they come over and look at the scroll, they'll all end up like David. Hiro squats down, looking away from the scroll, and pulls up one of the hidden trapdoors that lead down into the tunnel system. He's the one who coded those tunnels into the black sun to begin with. He's the only person in the whole bar who can use them. He sweeps the scroll into the tunnel with one hand, then closes the door. Hiro can see the Clint, way over near the exit, trying to get his avatar aimed out through the door. Hiro runs after him. If the guy reaches the street, he's gone. He'll turn into a translucent ghost. With a 50-foot head start in a crowd of a million other translucent ghosts, there's just no way. As usual, there's a crowd of wannabes gathered on the street out front. Hiro can see the usual assortment, including a few black and white people. One of those black and whites is YT. She's loitering out there, waiting for Hiro to come out. YT, he shouts. Chase that guy with no arms! Hiro gets out the door just a few seconds after the Clint does. Both the Clint and YT are already gone. He turns back into the black sun, pulls up a trapdoor, and drops down into the tunnel system, the realm of the graveyard demons. One of them has already picked up the scroll and is trudging in toward the center to throw it on the fire. Hey, hold it, bud, Hiro says. Take a right turn at the next tunnel and leave that thing in my office, okay? But do me a favor and roll it up first. He follows the graveyard demon down the tunnel, under the street, until they're under the neighborhood where Hiro and the other hackers have their houses. Hiro has the graveyard demon deposit the rolled up scroll in his workshop, down in the basement, the room where Hiro does his hacking. Then, Hiro continues upstairs to his office.